So let's start modeling our bump out. Our bump out is going to be based on a 6-inch generic wall that we'll modify to be a white material. The trim, we'll call it trim color. We're going to make it off a little darker than white because the white tends to render way too bright. We're going to go from level 2 up to level 4, and we're just going to make sure that they either are below it at level 2, 1 foot, or 1 foot above at level 4. Just the basic dimensions that we established. It says 1'6" here, but that was because we have a little bit of a piece of trim work that's another 6 inches. So let's go ahead and get started with this. So I'll call up Revit here, and we'll go ahead and make a new wall. And it won't let me do it unless I'm in a site plan or some other plan. So we'll go Wall, Architectural, and we'll look for a generic material 6 inches. We'll do the edit type thing, and we'll duplicate it and rename it. And we'll call it bump out. And I'll repeat 6 inches so we know how large it is. And I'm going to go into the structure and edit that. And we want to get that material to be a white. So I'm going to create a new material and rename it. Right click, rename. We'll call it white trim. And I want to make sure I set this color. Once again, I don't want to pin it all the way up to very bright white. I'm going to come down. I think that helps it render a little better. Yeah, we'll apply, OK, and OK, and OK. And we're now ready to start drawing with that. So I'm in the site plan view, which is a fine way to start. I'll just zoom in here. We've already sized the width of our module, and we know we want this wall to start in 2 feet. So I'm going to grab the tool. I'm going to grab the wall tool, and I'm going to come in 1'3", because that is the center line of the wall we're developing. So it's 3 inches on either side, so that's 1 foot in. And then I'll come out, and I'll come out 3 feet. That'll make it actually come out 3 feet 3, as we'll see in a minute. And then we'll go over, and we want it to be an overall of 13 feet wide. So we want to go just below that at 12'6", because once again it's going to extend past that. We'll come back over here and finish it. And now I did none of the setups for the heights, and we'll get to that in a minute. What I want to do while we're here, though, is we'll just confirm those dimensions that we just made. So I'm going to just grab the dimensioning tool and select these lines by tabbing, just to confirm that's the 3'3". Go from this edge to that edge to make sure we have the 1 foot. From this side to this side to make sure we have our 13. So those are all good. I'm just going to undo that, and we'll go back to the north elevation. That's not showing up. Let's look at it from the 3D. There's something wrong with my north elevation. Well, actually, it's a north elevation. That's part of the problem. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that was a north elevation. That's why we weren't rendering properly. My bad. There we go. It's just very bright, so we weren't seeing anything in the rendering of it. All right, so here's our bump out assembly. Let me grab all of these walls, all 3 of those. And once again, we want them to go from level 2, but be held down -1 foot. And then go up to the top constraint of level 4 and extend past that 1 foot. And I'll hit apply. And we'll look at that back at 3D view. And there we've gone ahead and created our bump out. Now our bump out doesn't then automatically cut out where we want it to go through the brick. So let me just turn off this north sight so I don't hit that again. So let's make that cut out. So I'm going to double click on the wall tool, or double click on the stacked wall, and I'm going to go ahead and modify that profile. So I'm going to come in and make and I didn't catch that edge, so let me just zoom in here. So we're editing the profile of the stacked wall, and I'm going to use the rectangle tool to do a cutout in the center. There we go. And then what I want to do is I want to bring this down to this level, and I want to bring this piece of brick up to the next level, and that'll just keep it from showing through when we're doing renderings of it. And we'll complete that out. and then we'll look at that again in a 3D view. And there we have the start of our bump out. Okay, the last thing I want to do in this clip is actually put that little peak on our roof. So I'll go back to that south elevation while we're doing these kind of modifying of profiles. I'll double click into that profile again. This is the same profile we just made the cutout with. And I'll pull this line back to, let me see what my number is. I think I did this to 2 feet. And then I'm going to give it a bit of a peak. So I'm going to start from that point and go on a 30-degree angle and not concern myself with how long it is, because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mirror that. So I'm going to grab this, I'm going to grab the mirror tool, and I'm going to find the center of I want to find a good center here. Center of that opening. Click a mirror of that. Then I'm going to trim these off. And the last thing I'm going to do is draw the final line to connect over to here. And what I could do is go to rendering, could go to wireframe so you can see the pink a little better maybe. So we're done with that, and I'll complete that off. And we go back to realistic rendering. And now we have that peak on our building. So next thing we'll start looking at are, I think, some windows.